this can start off some bold predictions here, Richie. I've seen a lot of people predict the playoff as their bold prediction, and I get that, but I don't know how truly bold that is. And here's why. Here's what I'm going to start with. The AP poll is going to come out tomorrow. I'd expect we're in that same range as the coaches poll, right? 7 to 8.
I'm thinking 5 or 6.
Okay, so I think we're like 7-ish, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong on this. But like either way, right? Like 5 to 8. Okay, so I looked at the teams that are ahead of us in the coaches poll. And who has an easier path to the playoff than Florida State, right? Okay, and so like Georgia does. I think that's fair. I think the winner of Ohio State, Michigan probably does. But then does USC have an easier path to the playoff than Florida State? I don't think so. We're going to be an underdog in 2 games, and it's going to be like 3 points each time. So, like, I think we have a little bit easier path. And that's not to say that we're definitely – Penn State is ahead of us. They don't have an easier path. There's no chance of that. LSU doesn't have an easier path. I know we play them, and they're ahead of us. Clemson's behind us, so, like, they don't count. I mean, that's kind of equal to me. Actually, I think Clemson's schedule might be a little bit – well, we play LSU, so maybe we're slightly tougher. But I think we have an easier road to the playoff than, again, everyone but the Big Ten champion – and Georgia. And that's not to say that we're definitely in or anything like that. You got to take care of business but I just don't think predicting the playoff is very bold. And so maybe my bold prediction is that's not a bold prediction. Maybe that's my first one, but that's how I want to start off bold predictions. I don't think somebody mentioned Alabama. I don't think Alabama has an easy path. I think that they're neck and neck with LSU. And then I still think they're behind Georgia right now. And so I don't necessarily think Alabama has an easier path. So I think we have one of the best paths to get there. Now, that said, you got to go out and take care of business. You've got to go out there and perform. And if you lose against LSU, the margins are razor thin to do it. But let's start out bold predictions by saying – so, Richie, I hope that wasn't one of your bold predictions. But I'm going to start out bold predictions by saying that ain't bold. Saying that we're going to the playoff is not bold. All right? You're not trendy if you say that. Like Barrett said – win a dark horse, right? This is not a situation where we're surprising anybody. So, all right, I need to get that rant off my chest, Richie. What are if you have any thoughts on that, I'll let you follow up. But do you have any bold predictions for me after you follow up on that?
Yeah, well, I think to your point, TJ, it's much more difficult. Last year was easy to make bold predictions. We were coming off of 5 and 7 seeds, and there was no expectations.
9 was bold.
Yeah. Now, here we are. You know, if you said we were going to win 10 games last year, people are like, wait, what are you crazy? You're going to double your win total from a year ago? Yeah, we did. But, man, this year, when you talk about bold predictions, it's a lot tougher because anything you say that would be considered, quote-unquote, bold, even if you said Jordan Travis is going to win the Heisman, okay, bold prediction, but that's very possible. Like
he's got the second best odds.
National media people are predicting that, so it's hard for me to come up with bold predictions for this team because expectations are there. Can this team handle it? I think one thing that I think we'll see. I think Rodney Hill is that guy, man. I do. I think he will be second behind Trey Benson in rushing yards, and I think he goes for 600 yards and 6 touchdowns this year. You know, I think he is going to be that dude next year. I love Lawrence Toafili. I think he's more of a receiving weapon. But Rodney Hill, man, this guy, watch out for him. I think he could have a big season, 600 yards, 6 touchdowns.
I like it. Prediction 1, 600 yards, 6 touchdowns, Rodney Hill from you. I like it. And I think he's got a chance too, just because we're going to play in a lot of blowouts too. So, and that's not to take anything away from him, but sneaky pick there, because if he plays in a lot of blowouts and we're running our second and third string guys, you might get that really early in the year, Richie. So, all right. Number 1 for me, I've got Keon Coleman leading the team in receiving yards. I think Johnny might still get touchdowns. I think that he's such a red zone threat that you could, and I saw a question on scrimmage updates. Scrimmage is like going on now, I believe. So I don't have any updates live as it's happening later on. Make sure you're subscribed. But yeah, I've got Keon Coleman, kind of wide receiver 1. I think that, you could get Johnny Wilson leading in touchdowns. I'd love for Johnny Wilson to come out and prove me wrong on this, but I got Keon Coleman leading in receiving yards. I saw some people say that, they'd both go up over 1,000. I'm all for that. I don't know if that happens or not, just with how we spread the ball around, but I'm for that. If we play all 15 games, then maybe that's how. But Keon Coleman, wide receiver 1, that's my first one. What you got next?
Man, so this one, I think this truly is a bold prediction, which is hard to do again with the expectations this team has. But Florida State will have both first team all ACC defensive ends in Jared Verse and Patrick Payton. Patrick Payton was the newcomer of the year for the ACC last year. And if he takes that next step, which Jared Verse is going to demand a lot of attention, that's going to free up a lot of Patrick Payton. And we already talked about the defensive tackle position.
No.
TJ, this defensive line is going to be a problem. And if Patrick Payton has improved the way from year 1 to year 2 that we think he has, I think Florida State might very well have the first team all ACC defensive ends, Jared Verse and Patrick Payton. Bold prediction number 2.
Okay, I'm moving my number 3 up to number 2 so I can piggyback off of yours. I've got Florida State with 3 defensive linemen drafted in the first 2 rounds next year. So my bold prediction is going into April, right? We're gonna have, usually we revisit this like in January, but mine I'm extending it out. I got 3. Somebody said your Rodney Hill one isn't bold at all. I've got 3 defensive linemen in the first 2 rounds: Braden, Jared. I think Pat Payton plays himself into being an NFL draft pick early. I do think there's a chance that he could get a lot of hype, and then we could give him Jared Verse's bag from this year and get him to come back for one more year to be like that top 10 pick. But I could also see himself playing his way into the late first round, early second round. And I think depending on the success of the team, he could end up going too. I got Fisk. Well, I'm not saying who exactly, but yeah, Fisk, Verse, and Payton, top 3 rounds or top 2 rounds next year. What's your third and final one, Richie?
So my final one, and there might be some controversy here, but I've been looking at the schedule. I've been watching these practice reports closely, listening to the people who are on the ground at practice. Florida State enters the month of October 4-0.
Ooh, got us winning both.
Yes, and just a week or 2 weeks ago, I probably would have said 3-1 was most likely. 2-2 with a very real possibility. But as of today, I'm thinking 4-0, and I'm standing on that like Ingram is standing on business.
I like it. I saw Ingram yesterday. Hey, shout out to Tampa Noles. I went to their block party yesterday and picked up this sweet shirt. Rich, we got to get you back out there next year. It was a fun time, always a great time. We'll do an event out there next year like we did last year. But good stuff there. Shout out their president, Mike. He'll be at the tailgate. If you're in Tampa and you missed yesterday, it is phenomenal. You guys got to go to the Tampa Noles event. How are we 25 minutes into this, Harlan, and nobody has taken that today's leader spot up on the board? Man, it's nuts. You guys are sitting on your wall. It's the middle of the month. I get it. You guys are spending money on that LSU game. I broke after that.
Don't tell me about that.
All right, my third one. So another one that I saw a lot of people say, a lot of people talk about this, talked about potentially Jordan Travis working his way into the first round. I actually do think that's possible, but it's not going to be where I'm at. Here's mine. Florida State is incredibly serious about football, and they pony up. And this is an off the wall one. Again, you got to go off the wall. Nothing else is really that bold, but Alex Atkins remains our offensive coordinator for the 2024 season. That's my bold prediction, and I believe it. I think that he's going to get some insane looks. The only caveat to that is if we win the national championship. If we win the national championship, he's out. But I think as much as I want to keep Alex, like I'll take that trade. I'll take that trade, man. We haven't won one in 10 years. But I've got Alex Atkins returning in 2024 to be our offensive coordinator. Florida State ponies up and makes him incredibly well paid. And I think that's probably his last year in Tallahassee, but I think we hold on to him for one more year. So yeah, that's where I don't know, off the wall. But again, what am I going to say? Jordan Travis throws for 4,000. Of course, he's going to do that. So nothing else is really that bold. So Give me Alex Atkins coming back in 2024.
That is bold, but I agree with you. If he leaves, it's not going to be for money. It's going to be because a Power 5 school gave him a head coaching opportunity. I don't see him going to a Group of 5 school for a head coaching job. I truly think an SEC school or even a Big Ten school is going to say, "Hey, we need that guy," because Florida State's going to average 40 plus a game this year, and everyone knows Mike Norvell's the architect of the offense. But Alex Atkins plays a huge role in that during the week in the game planning, and he is worth every single penny Florida State offers him. So if he does come back, I agree with you, TJ. It won't be because of money, but because we're going to pay him whatever it takes. Even he could be a $2 million coordinator. But
I'm with it.
But if another school in the Power 5, or let's call it the Power 2, because we're about to talk about realignment, if the Power 2 school offers him, $5 million to be a head coach, hey, Coach Atkins, love you. Go get yours, man, at that point. Go do you.
Well, you saw guys like Venables and other guys, and there were other factors that played into that, but you saw guys at Clemson turn down more money and because they were waiting for the right job. And so kind of what goes into that is I have had some conversations with some people. I do believe that Coach Atkins is not going to just bolt for any one thing. I think he will wait on the right job. And Brent Venables, by doing that, now has one of the best jobs in college football, right? As opposed to just kind of running out to coach some team and work your way up.
And getting fired like Jeff Scott.
Right. So that's kind of what I think. So we'll see. Nathaniel, that's a good way to end that segment.
Fire up the war chant and plant the spear. Noles win.
Woo! You're even bolder than I am. Undefeated national champs Travis wins the Heisman by a landslide. Verse gets an invite as well. That would be insane. And Atkins sticks with Norvell as long as Mickey Andrews did with Bowden. Yeah, we're winning multiple titles if that happened. I'm just going to tell you because we're going to have the best offensive line in the country for several years. So I like it. Nathaniel, thank you for the love. You're today's leader. You get our top spot. Shout out to Nathaniel for the love. Okay, thegramco.com. I'll give them a little love as well, and then we will move on to talk a little conference realignment. We're going to have some scrimmage updates, some news and notes for you guys later tonight in the Discord, and then tomorrow morning we'll put a video out on the scrimmage. Thegramco.com. You can use code TJ25 to get 25% off. Listen, they have the Delta 8 gummies that you guys know about, but now they have the Delta 9 that you guys need to go check out. It's an upgraded, it's the real stuff, right? It's not the, I don't want to call it Delta 8 fake, but it's the real stuff. All right. If you don't know what that means, then probably start with the Delta 8. But go check them out, thegramco.com, TJ25. Appreciate them for their support. Got some exciting stuff coming with them, and they'll be out at the tailgate for sure.